There are so many places to advertise my dog training business. Where do I even start? My paid ads aren't working and I need more clients right now. So what am I going to do? My social media posts don't seem to be bringing in any clients. So now what? Is doing any of these things going to help get me more clients in my dog training business? And if so, how do I do them correctly? Like, should I be advertising at a pet expo? Should I be taking my dog to the local dog park and showing him off? Should I wrap my car with all of my information so as I'm driving my car all over the place for all of my dog training lessons, I can be a moving billboard? Or should I demo my dog in front of a pet business, or focus on Instagram, or focus on TikTok or other social media sites? These are the kinds of questions I get asked all the time. And although it's awesome to have a ton of different options for advertising and getting your name out there and getting found and getting noticed, a lot of them, to be honest, are a complete waste of time for us as dog trainers in particular. So they just don't work for our type of business. Or they work awesome, but only if you do things in a very specific certain way. And they can work well if you do them in that specific way, and otherwise they don't work at all. This can be super confusing and really, really frustrating. And wouldn't it just be so much easier if there was someone out there who either tried all of these things on their own dog training business and reported back, or personally knew thousands of other dog trainers that reported back on their results and the things that they had tried. So all this information was collected for you. I think I might know someone like that. And they even created a simple and fun workshop to teach exactly how to do all the different advertising methods without all the headache and without the doom and despair of figuring it out on your own through trial and error, which is what I did. Once I had what I thought was like a brilliant advertising idea that turned into one of my biggest mistakes in my own dog training business. At the time, we lived in Pennsylvania, and there was this really large outdoor market that was super popular. It was called the Hometown Market. It was in eastern Pennsylvania, and people were always there with their dogs. People would be going there to buy food and antiques and, homemade Amish goods and all kinds of really cool things. It was one of my favorite places to go when it was open and when they were running it. Well, I noticed that there was, again, all these people walking around with dogs all the time. And it gave me the idea that if I set up a table at this market, this place where there's tons of people with dogs, I could use it to get dog training clients. Surely that would work, Surely I could strike up conversations with people and be able to schedule consultations with them and get things going. So that's what I did. I tried that. I got a table. I went all in. I made homemade dog treats. I had a banner professionally made, so it was really pretty and just made it all really nice looking. I had my dog there to demo. I made all these other free goodies to attract people over, to give them my cards and my brochures and have conversations with them and get things started and interact with a lot of people, which would lead to clients, right? Well, after days of doing this and several different weeks of running this booth, I ended up quitting. And to top it off, I was closing up after another long day in the heat, and I dropped my brand new iPhone on the ground. It was the one time I took it out of its really fancy case that would protect it, dropped it on the concrete, and shattered the screen. So as you can imagine, I was tired and frustrated and upset and just like, okay, well, if this better be worth it, right? After all of this work in the heat and making all that effort. Well, the reason why I quit doing it is obviously, in case you couldn't figure out from my tone, it didn't work that well. I did everything right for that particular thing, but I maybe got one client out of it. So it wasn't worth all of the effort. It was, maybe worth the expense if you just calculate, okay, I spent this much on the booth and I made this much from this client, but it wasn't worth it. But why didn't it work? And the reason is I was making marketing mistake or advertising mistake number one for dog trainers. I remember when I first started my dog training business, I was learning how to train dogs and I was talking to other dog trainers and I was always like, okay, I get it. I get how to do these things with the dogs. I understand the people, I think, and I get it. But how do I find clients? That was always my question. How do I find clients? That's how it was worded. And a lot of times when people are talking to me about advertising their dog training business, that's how they word it as well. They say, how do I find clients? And the mistake was chasing after clients instead of allowing them to find me and attracting them to me. So the best advertising methods are the ones where you can be as findable as any big business, but still have the simplicity and the fun and the convenience and the peace of running a small one. Making sure that people who have the problem right there and then can find you. The ones who are actively looking for your service can locate you when they need you. You know what's funny is that we love wildlife. We love going on these tours and to these different places where you can see some of the most amazing rainforests and, have a professional guide, and you get taken out to these places and you're walking around the woods and you're smelling all the beautiful rainforest smells, and there's, trickles and noises and leaves rustling and things like that. And you're walking around and you think it would be like one of those shows where there's like exotic animals everywhere. But you know what you often see? Nothing but beautiful plants and mud, which I personally like. I like the mud in the rainforest, but so it's still fun. But you don't really see, it's very few birds and animals. You don't see a lot. They are very good at hiding, and a lot of times they only come out at night. But in contrast, most of the bird photography resorts, they will set up hummingbird feeders and fruit feeders and all of this whole setup of things to attract the birds to the site so people can get pictures of them, and they're loaded with amazing birds. You don't have to even go out. It's fun to go out in the rainforest and look for animals that you can't attract to your feeder, but it's a lot more efficient to just set it up so that they just come to you. So the first lesson is not to focus on the harder version of going and chasing after things and maybe not even being able to find it and being able to get them interested and having some kind of interaction with you, but to attract them to you. So that's marketing mistake number one, is just the mindset of how do I find clients instead of saying how do I get them to find me. Marketing mistake number two is having a lack of focus and just advertising in way too many places, because there's just a lot of options. And it's nice, like I said earlier, to have a lot of options, but only if they all work and only if you know how to do them all. And one of the biggest challenges in the dog training industry in the last few years is that there are so many different places. And there are people reporting back and saying, oh, I tried this and it worked well. And then we have to look into it and say, well, what does work well really mean? Like, let's dive into this a little bit more and clarify it and make sure and see if it's something that is universal. See if it's something that works well for all dog trainers. There's social media sites. There's sites like Thumbtack and Bark.com and Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace and the list goes on and on. You know how many there are. There's tons of them. Not to mention all the kind of more common or tried and true or more kind of historically used methods like Google and running Google ads and getting referrals from word of mouth sources, getting more referrals from past clients or vets and things like that, and many other methods that have been just kind of more common over the history of time, things that haven't really come up more recently or changed since the pandemic. The truth is that most of the highest earning dog trainers focus on a few and sometimes just one or two advertising methods, and they get really, really good at them. So if you're feeling like you're missing out on clients because you're not on whatever social media site that you have heard works really great for dog trainers, or you heard worked really well for a specific one other person that you talk to, feeling like you're missing out on something by not doing what everybody else is doing, or even one person that supposedly worked well, that's a mistake as well. You should just pick the advertising method that you think will work best and focus on that one thing. And then once you have it nailed down, you can add something else if you want to, although you probably won't really feel the need to if you're having all the clients that you want. But how do you even know which ones to choose? Which ones will work well for you? So how do you even answer that question? And that is a great question, and more on that later. But let's get into marketing or advertising mistake number three, and that is advertising on social media all wrong. Over the last year in particular, I figured out that there are really three great ways of using social media. So all the social media, no matter which platform you personally love the most, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or whatever, there's three great ways that consistently work well. One of the best is to focus on the before and after stories that you have with the dogs that you train. So if you can do a video or even just plain written posts with a picture of a dog that you trained, talking about how the dog was before you trained them, what the family's experiences were like, what they were feeling when they first contacted you about their dog, what the impact of their dog's behavior was having on their everyday life, all those things. Just tell the story about what was going on and then what happened afterwards. Tell that story about how great they did and the impacts that had on the dog's family after the training. And that kind of thing is loaded with a ton of things that psychologically have a big impact on the people that read it. Number one, it makes them more likely to want a service that may not have even been on their radar, that they look at your post and they're like, I have that experience with my dog. I didn't even realize training would fix that. Maybe I should be more aware of that. And they realize that in the process. they also see kind of more sympathy and likability from you, that you're like, this is what the family was going through and this is what happened. And, I felt so bad for them and now I'm so happy for them. If you kind of work that into the story, it makes you look like an amazing, likable human as well, which is really important. And of course, it's social proof. It's basically like you are writing a testimonial the way you wish the owner would say it. This is how I felt. This is what happened. This is what I did. This is what happened. That kind of stuff can be really, really powerful. And then as an extra little perk, you can tag the owner a lot of times, especially if you have permission to share their story and their picture and that kind of stuff. Tag the owner, and then a lot of times they'll share it with their friends and it'll be on their profile as well. And you'll get more clients because of that. There are also lots of other great ways of using social media to get more dog training clients, and chances are you are doing them, but maybe not doing them the best way. Your advice, for example, might be resulting in just complete silence. Nobody's reacting to it at all. Or you get people who just ask you for more free advice. Or your posts are, about what you're doing in your business and what's going on, and the only reaction you get is from other dog trainers who want to criticize you, or complete crickets, and it's not getting you anything. So you get to the point where you're just like, should I even bother doing social media at all? Should I focus on it at all? Should I focus on something else? And maybe the answer is yes. Maybe there is something else that would work better for you. Or maybe there's just a strategy change that needs to be done in your use of the social media and what you actually post on there. So how do you know where to advertise? And, when there are so many choices, how do you even figure that out? Well, here are 3 ways that you can find that out and figure it out, and you can choose the one that you feel like makes the most sense to you. So number 1 would be what I did, which is lots and lots and lots of trial and error, and mostly error. So when I first started out my dog training business, I didn't know anyone who was teaching advertising effectively, even though I looked for someone and I talked to tons of dog trainers all the time, and other kinds of businesses as well, just to kind of figure out what was consistent and what worked for other people. So I tried everything. I tried the markets I told you about. I spent, in the life of my dog training business, over $100,000 on paid ads, like on Google. And I tried Facebook ads. I spent lots of time and effort getting more referrals from local businesses and from past clients. And although I eventually kind of got everything down to a science and figured it out, it came with a lot of uncertainty, a lot of wasted money, a lot of countless hours of time. And I wish someone with experience could have just told me what to do. So that's option number 1, is just do the same thing I did, all the trial and error, and mostly error. Number 2 is you could pay someone to do all your advertising for you. And that's a common thing that I get asked about a lot is, do I know someone who can do advertising for you and just run some sort of campaign for you? So in the last year or so, and really kind of longer than that, but really a lot more even in the last year, there are a lot of agencies that have popped up and they can run your dog training ads for you. And I know because they try to advertise in my big Facebook group about marketing for dog trainers without permission. And then I have to delete their posts because they're not allowed to do that. And I didn't look into them, so I don't know if they're any good. And they post on there without asking. So they get kicked out. I personally know dog trainers who have tried this approach and have gotten very few or no clients from those strategies. And some say that they had like some success in some areas. And the problem is there are people who are really good with the technical things like search engine optimization, but they may not know very much at all about dog owners and what your ideal clients would really value or what would pull them in or attract them. So they know some of the technical stuff, but they don't know the industry. They don't know dog trainers. They don't know dog owners. And without that, then maybe hiring one of those companies will work for you. Maybe you'll just waste a lot of money and get locked into some kind of contract or, get deceived, which I've seen happen as well. So please just be very, very careful when you're hiring someone for your advertising, especially if they don't know the industry that well. And just to be clear, that is not a service that I sell. I don't do ads for people, so I have no axe to grind on that particular tip. And here is way number 3 of being able to figure all this out and to find out how to actually do your advertising for your dog training business the best way without wasting time or money on things that don't work. And that is, you could learn the things from me, how to do the things, which things work, and the best ways and strategies of doing each of those things. So I'm in a really unique position when it comes to advertising because I have my own personal experience in my own dog training business. So I have that super advantage. And I also coach other dog trainers. I have for the last more than 11 years. So I know thousands of other dog trainers and I can pull on their experience. I have that inside knowledge of the kind of before I coach them what's going on, and then after, and what we change with the advertising and how that affects their business. So I know where they advertise, and I know what they did, and I know what they said, and I know what the ads looked like, and I know how much they spent and all that stuff. So I know what's working right now and what's a complete waste of time for us, particularly as dog trainers. And I know how to do things in the best way to make the most of your time and money. So when you learn all these things from me, you're getting the best of all of the collective knowledge and experience of countless other dog training businesses that have advertised their services and gotten clients from it. So if you want to go deeper on this topic, you will be happy to know that the brand new latest version of the Get Your Name Out There workshop for dog trainers is starting up, and it's available, and it's brand new. So we're covering all the things that are the latest, where you should be advertising right now, what's working. We'll cover all the popular places the dog trainers advertise and show you how to make sure it works the best way and which ones you should avoid. We'll talk about the psychology of advertising and the reasons why some methods work really well, so you will always know if something new comes up, whether or not it's a good idea or a very, very bad one. You'll also learn how to attract clients who are in a position where they're actually ready to buy, which is a very, very, very small percentage of people. So you'll learn how to focus on those people instead of, the 97% of other people who aren't actively looking for a dog trainer. And you'll know how to talk to each group of people differently, so you don't get unqualified leads who waste your time. And of course, you'll learn all the big mistakes to avoid, like I said before, so you don't waste time and energy and money on things that just don't work for dog trainers. Obviously, this workshop is not a step-by-step tutorial of the actual advertising methods and softwares and things like that. You can find those on YouTube. You can find them on the websites of the actual tools that you decide to use. This is all about giving you the clarity and confidence you need to focus your advertising on the things that will work and strategically do them the right way. How to word things, how to make those decisions, how much to spend, how much to expect to make back, all kinds of things like that. You'll also understand more about how your clients think, so you can attract more of the right ones to you, and you'll learn more about how to know what advertising methods will work well for dog trainers. So anytime, like I said, anything new comes up, you know what to focus on, and you know whether or not you should deviate your focus to this new thing. You'll also get a ton of specific tips on how to improve the things that you are already doing, that you're already finding is working really well, or you've already invested a lot of time and effort into, how to make those things work the absolute best for you in particular. And you'll learn how to get more referrals from clients, from past clients, from other businesses. Word of mouth advertising is always awesome if you have some control over it, if you can get it to ramp up when you need more clients and be able to kind of just have more predictability with that and be able to maximize that. The people who get referred to you are often the easiest people to get to sign up. So really want to focus on advertising in that way and maximizing your referrals as well. So you'll learn how to do that. I'll also give you the basic advertising knowledge that you need if you are going to hire someone. So if you're going to hire an agency or you're going to hire a person for some kind of ad related thing or some kind of campaign or even just one specific method, you'll know what questions to ask them to see if they are legitimate or to see if they are going to just take all your money and that they're big frauds. So you'll know how to handle that and how to shop for that kind of help as well. It's been quite a while, a few years since I've run this particular workshop, and since it's been so long and there's been so many new things with social media and things that have changed with the pandemic and everything else, all those things that are new and different, I figured it was time for a refresh and a brand new one. So that's what we're doing. So if you're thinking I'll just wait until next time, it might be a while. And I wanted to offer it now because I have learned a whole bunch of kind of newer and updated social media strategies that I've learned over, from other dog trainers that I've worked with. And they're things that you might want to consider doing. And some of them don't really take all that much effort or technological, know-how. So those are things that I have not taught before in the previous versions of this workshop. So I have a lot of other updates and things like that other trainers have tried, and updates on things that I have taught before since so much has changed since the pandemic. There are a few things that might make this particular workshop not a good fit for you. So I'm going to give you a big warning. This is your warning. This workshop is not for you if any of the following things are true. Number one, you are looking for the software step-by-step tutorials on advertising methods, like how to create an account on Facebook or how to, set up your Google ads and which buttons to click or something like that. So if that's what you feel like you need, this is not it. If you enjoy throwing your money away, then this workshop is not for you. Or number 3, if you get offended by harmless jokes, or you take yourself way too seriously, or you view advertising any other way than the way it should be, which is fun to learn and entertaining, because that's how we like to make it. Or if you enjoy being around a lot of really critical or judgmental dog trainers, if that's the case, sorry, we can't help you. This workshop is only for really, really nice and kind dog trainers. So if that's not you, it's not for you. Another thing you should know is that almost all of my big marketing workshops are about $2,000. And learning all of this stuff, of course, cost me $100,000, because that's how much I spent on advertising in my dog training business on even just one method over the years. This workshop, though, is only $197. And there's 100% back. There's also a 100% no questions asked money back guarantee. So if you go through the workshop and you don't think that it will help you make more money or save time and get you more clients, then just let me know and I'll give you a refund of the full investment. This is going to be done as a live interactive class, so you can watch it live if you are in before it happens live, or you can watch it on demand anytime after that. And anytime you watch it, you can ask questions, and we will be doing Q&A calls as well, so you can get feedback from your ideas or feedback on anything that you're creating and avoid mistakes on any of the advertising you do. So it's like an online retreat, and it's very interactive. Go to this page. I'm going to put something right here in the editing software so you can see where to go. Go find out all the details at that link about how to register and do all that before it closes. So all the rest of the details are there. If you're watching this anywhere else, the link is also somewhere down below in the description. So head over to that page, get all the details, and register before it closes. If you have any questions at all, my contact info is on that page as well. Looking forward to hearing from you personally and helping you get your name out there.